Hello, welcome to a panic attack with me, James.
Me, Andy.
Wow, it's tense. That cortisol is really flowing, Andy.
It's second last upstage of the practice scenario, and it's not been holding back.
It has not, and we've nearly wrapped up the second upstage.
Yes, we got a lot done today.
Nearly swallowed it up in one go again. So, this isn't just a panic attack, it's also a podcast called War with the Mates. And we are playing the campaign for North Africa. We're doing a 6-turn practice run, and we are on the precipice of finishing after a very long 18 months. It's not slowing down.
It's speeding up.
It's become much more of a frightful endeavour towards the end than I expected.
Yes.
There's something about knowing that those Kinder Buenos that we put on the line for the winner are so close.
Delicious hazelnut cream for me.
They really, really hang in the balance. Sorry, it sounds like there's some sort of dispute going on next door. Hope that doesn't get picked up on the mic. That's allowed. Someone's having a bad day. I'm having a pretty good day overall.
Yeah.
The play session was, fraught with intensity, but all in all, enjoyable. It's kept up the streak it has for a few weeks now of feeling like a game. Ever since I had that wobble, it's really come back around into feeling like playing a complicated and kind of all over the place game, but it's really boiled down to decisions.
I think also because we've just slammed all our trucks basically into units.
It makes my life
so much less to manage.
It's so much nicer knowing that there'll never really be another truck day for the rest of the scenario.
No. I think I've got 2 convoys that'll move, but
I've got one that kind of supplies my air bases.
Yeah,
and I've got one in Bardia as well.
Yeah.
So those guys can supply where they need to. They're also kind of my lifeline to make sure I can continue to play the game, because that way I can't lose the scenario. But I suppose maybe we should recap what exactly went on today.
Yeah, let's say what we did.
We started off with the start of every upstage, air stuff. I guess technically there's the water stuff.
There's organisation phase, but
that's not much to talk about.
No construction's getting finished.
We're not building anything.
No.
What would be the point in start? We could build a supply dump.
Yeah.
But we've got no trucks to put shit in there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hollow.
And we've got, I get water distribution. That is done. My guys aren't thirsty. Apart from my garrisons, they're dead.
Okay.
My garrisons that need water, they died a while ago. They're still on the board, but I was thinking about it today. They would have lost like 16 tow points at this point. Most of them are like 4 tow points. So they died back in turn 2.
Is that all your down south guys?
Yeah, Jarabub, Gyarabub.
Yeah.
They're dead. They died a while ago. Some of the guys to the west on map B, the Para Regiment, they died at some stage. I just left them there. And I've also got a bunch of guns that I placed in the middle of nowhere, because I looked at the game in a very broad sense, where there'd be a lot of swinging pendulum action. Maybe for the full game that would be the case, but I've got them kind of planted in the middle of nowhere in map B, not realizing that you don't really go through the middle of nowhere. So I've had guns sat there for the whole scenario with no water.
Are they the ones my truck bandits briefly encountered?
No, some of those I had some guys go over and bring along with them, and then the truck bandits had a fight with them.
Yeah,
because I thought, well, those are just guns nearby. I'll bring them into the fold. But there are some others with similar stats that are just kind of scattered around the border of map B.
Right.
Next time we get the map out, I'll show you.
Yeah.
They're just kind of there.
Is it border of map B and C or B and A? Yeah.
B and C. I don't actually think there's any units on map A. I don't think I've got any guys, like infantry on map A.
Huh.
I think some of them were optional that I could place around map A, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I think I had the option to place them anywhere in Libya. So I could have placed them there, but I decided not to.
Oh, okay.
That will be very different in the full game.
You're going to defend.
Yeah, I cannot be leaving that wide open, especially knowing that you can push. You've proven that you can push. But when it comes to air stuff, that's when we really sank our teeth in today. And it was fairly straightforward for me because I didn't have much to go with. I just had my few refitted planes after my big blowout last time. So I just had bombers. Again, Madalena, gone. So no fighters, all bombers. I had a single bombing mission.
Yes, against the 6th Australian.
I thought, based on their position, because they are in the escarpment area, they're along that north coast.
Yep.
So I thought I'll pin them down so that they can't zip along too far, because they had not huge corridors to move through, but they could swing round what's left of my wall. That's boxing in the 7th.
Yes, if they've gone south.
Yeah, I thought they could swing down real far south and try something crazy. So I thought, pin them. So that was my move, and I did pin 3 of them.
Yes.
3 of the groups. So that was pretty effective. You went for a bit of a bigger air mission, a bit more ambitious.
Yeah, I did 2 flights of fighters over the 4th and the 7th.
Oh, is that who it was over? You mentioned you had 2 air patrols. They are solid bets. 7th would be a safe bet, but my thought process was, I've got them boxed in. Do I really need to pin them? Yeah. As events would transpire, I could have done with that.
Yeah.
And the 4th, yeah, I mean, just a solid call, but I thought with 204 bombs, that's all I had, I can reliably pin 1 division.
Yeah.
Or I can kind of scatter it about, maybe pin 1 or 2 from each. But I thought in the end, if I pin them like that, they are going to link up again by op stage 3.
Yes.
So it means that they're there for the final push.
My thinking with the 7th and 4th are my 2 linchpin divisions. They'd just be the ones I'd be the most damn. I want them to be able to do things.
And I did weigh that up. I did think, do I go for your big guys and really slow them down? But I've decided to take a bit of a scattershot approach and try and keep them pinned down with my land units. And then with the 6th being a bit more mobile, see if I can pin them down with air stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of cover you on all fronts. Use everything I've got in my arsenal to hinder you everywhere I can.
Yes.
In hindsight, after how today went, I think I would have preferred to double down on, say, the 7th or the 4th.
Yeah.
Maybe even the 6th. Maybe find a way to maneuver my land units. Double down. But we live and learn.
Yeah.
Some of my guys don't have that grace.
No.
Some of them learned, but they didn't live.
Maybe
as I
some
described,
of them are learning in POW camps.
That's true. As I described it earlier, some of them are steadfast and some of them have died fast.
Yes.
But your bombing runs, you had some of those. 3?
Yes, I did your garrison that caused me problems last time.
Yes, the old Tobruk garrison. They are still sat at the western part of the escarpment around Hellfire.
I got 2 of your guns, but from what you said, they're 2 of the least effective guns, so it's not like I really did much.
You pick the last 2 on a sheet of about 13 guns, and those 2 are exclusively for anti-tank and anti-air.
Yeah.
They don't have defense ratings. I don't think they have barrage ratings off the top of my head. Based on my reaction to them being pinned, I don't think they did.
Yeah.
But they definitely don't have defense ratings. So they wouldn't have been the best to hold off against you. So I wasn't too hurt about them getting pinned. I'll take that. I'm a big guy. I can take you pinning my guns that don't do anything.
That's very magnanimous of you.
I am really quite headstrong and heartstrong. So for me to say
weak.
Bladder weak, as Hulk would say. Bladder weak. You know what? That is accurate, though. I go to the toilet a lot. Like liquid, my body can't hold liquid.
Yeah.
I have like a sip of anything, and my body's just like, let it go. Like Elsa. Just void your bowels.
That could freeze in you for a bit.
Void your bowels, void your bladder. You know, I can hold my bowels longer.
You'd hope.
But I can go like 3 days at a time sometimes.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe that has an effect on the bladder, do you think?
Certainly there's a bunch of shit pushing stuff around on your lower torso.
Yeah, maybe.
No, yes.
Hey, I guess people were right, Andy, when they said I'm full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The doctor.
Me.
My bowelologist.
Your bowelologist.
I don't know what the actual name is.
Colonologist?
Colonologist? What is renal? Is renal...
It's something that happens before kidney failure.
Right, okay.
As in, the only context I've ever heard that word in is renal kidney failure.
Okay.
But I don't know what that means.
I'll not get too worried then. I'm not gonna WebMD myself with your words.
That's good.
That doesn't seem fine. Oh, what's this? I think this is a McDonald's receipt in my upper shirt
We
pocket.
don't need to talk about that or
Yeah, so it is.
I could have stayed there.
Yeah, I've just realised I ironed the shirt that I'm wearing this morning, and I've ironed it.
Is that
with
why the
this.
receipt's so flat?
It is. It's also why it's started to melt the ink off, and thankfully not into this lovely shirt. I wore the shirt to our live show, Andy. It's the same shirt. Same jeans as well. I'm wearing the live show outfit.
Oh, nice.
Look at that. You're not.
I'm wearing the same jeans.
You've got... Is that a wet patch on you, or is it sweat?
It's just...
I guess it's still wet,
It's
regardless.
sweat, yeah.
Yeah. If it's salty, it's sweat. Welcome to the salty spittoon. How tough are you?
Not very.
Oh, you wouldn't do very well in the SpongeBob universe.
I'd do great in the SpongeBob universe.
Maybe that'll be a common ground one day.
I'd live in a giant wheel of cheese.
That's not even slightly thematic.
He lives in a pineapple.
Yeah, he lives on a pineapple under the sea. We've heard the theme song.
I live in a cheese wheel under the sea.
Stop trying to pitch spin-offs. Hillenburg's dead, Andy.
I live in a cheese wheel under the sea. I am surrounded by dairy. That would be my theme song.
By dairy?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, man. I'm maybe pitch it when I'm in a different state of mind. I'm in war mode right now. You're not going to be able to appeal to me very easy with that kind of shit.
Oh, that's a shame. Because I'm just a little bit delirious.
Is it the heat again?
It
it's
is
another
the
warm
heat
day.
again.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. You know what? You've coped a lot better today.
I have, yeah.
Congrats. Kudos.
Well, I mean, if I coped any worse, I'd be dead.
That's a good point. You'd have renal heart failure.
Oh, no.
Don't know how that works, but any doctors, let us know.
Sounds bad.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So, yeah, after I bombed the garrison, 2nd Libyan got a smattering.
They did. 2nd Libyan are down there with the 63rd Serene.
Yeah, they're in a little patch of rough just below the escarpment cliffs.
Yeah, it's that little gap in the escarpment on the if you head down south along that escarpment, you can come through that little gap. It's only 1 hex of a gap, I believe. Yeah, 1 hex. And that's where they've been holding, so that if your guys, is that the 4th?
4th, yeah.
Yeah.
They're on the coast.
Yeah, the 4th could have dipped further down and made their way through there. So they've been holding that spot. And you bombed both of them. You bombed the 63rd and the Libyans, 2nd Libyan.
Yeah, my worry was you'd use them to move in and pin the 4th against the coast. Mm-hmm. And I'd essentially lose them for the rest of the game.
Which was actually something I was debating today.
Cool, yeah. Thought you might be weighing that, like moving down with some escarpment guys, and those two move up, and the 4th are just out of commission.
Yeah. They had a bit of maneuverability in the things they could have done, because I also could have moved them west and pinned the guys against my gun.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had a few places I could have put them, but you bombed them. You pinned not many.
I think it was 2 of each.
You pinned just 1 infantry from the 63rd because they didn't have many guys left. You pinned 1 infantry. It was the second. It was the 2nd infantry of that group because it had 2 infantry and 1 gun. You pinned the 2nd infantry, and you. Pinned...
Are you not thinking of something that happened later?
No. I think it was
because it was 180 odd bombs, so the minimum pin was 2.
Yeah, but you rolled 60 something. Oh no, yeah, that would have been 2. Oh, well,
are you thinking of we had
barrage.
A fight later in my turn where I pinned an infantry and a
yeah, I am.
Getting ahead of yourself. Spoilers.
Spoilers. We continue to fight a war in Africa. Yeah, that you're right. They did get someone else pinned. They pinned 2 infantry, and then it was the same for the 63rd.
I think
63rd and 2nd Libyan both had 2 guys pinned.
I think I low rolled. Well, not really low rolled. It was just the brackets were like 1 to 40 odd.
Yeah, it was broad.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I get you now. I get you. So yes, you pinned some of those guys, which left them in a state where they couldn't do a whole lot of maneuvering without leaving some guys behind, which wrapped up the air stuff.
It did. It was a quick one.
It was. The air stuff went a lot quicker than the land stuff.
Air stuff is so fast if you don't get a dogfight.
Yeah, without the dogfight, it is just how many bombs do I have?
It's sort of weird. It can either be 10 minutes or if it pans out, like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's either the full session or
part of
done straight away. And that was it. That was the end of the air, which moved us straight onto land. And I, with initiative, have given myself the first go. So I shuffled some guys around. Nothing crazy, though. I didn't get into any fights of my own volition.
Yeah.
I decided to jig around, rejig rather, not jig. Jig is the initial move. Rejig. This is all in the rules, by the way. Rejig is taking things and redoing them. I took all of the trucks from the 3rd CCNN, the black shirts.
Who are in Tobruk.
And they are partying there with the 1st CCNN, 1st black shirts. They've been around for the whole thing. They are a mainstay. So they were sat up there together. And I thought the 3rd are going to stay put where they are. There's plenty of supplies in Tobruk. I don't need them to have trucks anymore.
Yeah.
So I robbed them of those trucks for both the movement trucks and their supply trucks. And I generously gave them to the 1st black shirts.
Yeah.
And the 1st black shirts used said trucks to zip along that northern road and then dart down past Bardia and sit themselves nicely on the border of the escarpment, right next to the Tobruk garrison, all the guns.
Yes, so you rebuilt that wall on the escarpment closest to Bardia.
Built it, I think, better than I did before, because now it's a gun, and I also then moved up the 4th black shirts to help bolster that. So now I have the gun garrison, the Tobruk one. They are sat at the only gap of the western part of the escarpment.
Yep.
And then on either side of them, I've got a black shirt division. And those black shirt divisions are mostly untouched. The 1st and 4th have actually stood the test of time. For some reason, I had in my head that the 4th were absolutely disheveled, but it was mostly cohesion drops and supplies.
Right, so they've had a few turns to rest. They're sort of back to...
Their cohesion's completely fine now. They've been sat there for a while. The 1st have been sat in Tobruk for a while. They're fully supplied. They've just got a ton of trucks. So they've just been darting around with loads of stuff. So now that wall is perfect because it means regardless of which hex you move into to try and go to the escarpment edge, you will be fighting one of the black shirt divisions and also the gun.
Yeah.
In fact, in one position, you'll have to fight all 3.
Yes.
Which is...
If I take the middle one.
Yeah, which would be very funny for me.
It would not work out well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the option, so it would be crazy for you to choose that. So that was my movement. That's all I did, I believe.
Yeah.
That is it. Jigged them around, rejigged, and then you started to move.
Yes.
That took up the rest of our session, and your movement's not over.
Not even close.
And I can see why. So Andy, take it away.
So this was an interesting one for me.
That's one way to put it.
So phase 1, I guess, because you loop, was just making sure everyone who might need to do stuff was within 2 hexes of an enemy.
So that they can move again at the end of
If
that
they
phase
need
of
to,
movement.
yeah. And then after that, I moved the 16th Infantry Brigade, who were in City Barani. I moved them along so they were within 2 of your 63rd and 2nd Libyans.
Yeah, they were just hanging on the edge there.
Yep.
I was kind of worried they were going to go for them, but they are tactically placed because while they are one away from the escarpment end, so that they aren't in contact with the guys up the hill, they are still in rough.
Which is a 2 defense?
It is. It means if you go into combat with them, you move the column 2 to the left.
Yes.
So it's a pretty hefty disadvantage when you're fighting them.
Well, the escarpment's what, 3?
The escarpment's 3, yeah, so you're
like
not far
the
off
fact
that.
Yeah, is very good.
So it's a real nice position for them to be in, where they can hold that defensive line against the hill to the south.
Yeah.
And if anyone comes from any other side, they're going to be fighting with a hefty disadvantage.
Yeah. So moved them up. That was just so they were within 2, so they could be used again. The 6th Australian who you bombed, split them. So the guys who got pinned by bombs got split off. Because it worked out really nicely. The 3 infantry you pinned in the 6th Australian were beneath the same HQ.
Yes.
So just could very easily switch that. So they went down to City Barani now that it's vacant.
Yeah,
because they couldn't do anything else. And then the 6th and the 2nd New Zealand got to work.
They absolutely did. They decided they were going to try and break this little defensive ring that I've got around the 7th.
Their job, I guess I can tell you now, because also, well, we'll get to it. Their job solely was to free the 7th.
Which I could gauge, because of the way you went in through your movement, you went ham on these guys.
Yes.
Hell for leather, and you... Credit to you. You committed to the bit.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So yeah, you really went in on initially the 63rd.
63rd are at the bottom of the hill.
62nd.
62nd.
Yeah.
Who held up for a couple of fights?
They have been my golden boys for the last turn. Turn 5, they were, well, I guess end of turn 5, start of turn 6. They have just been chewing through what they can.
Yeah.
They came along fully motorized.
They really held the line.
I think they're fully motorized. Might be thinking of someone else. They are, no, sorry, I don't think they are. They are, I'll double check that.
I guess from an outside perspective, I'd guess they're not, because you never really, you put them in place and then...
I didn't zip them along very far. Yeah.
Like, if you have motorized them, that was probably a mistake, I'd say.
I've motorized one of those guys. I get very lost because I've stopped moving them around so much.
Yeah.
I've planted them again. But you went in hard for them.
Went in with the 6th and the 2nd New Zealand for the first attack. Got a retreat.
Which I took.
Yes. Then the second...
20% loss. 20% losses on those guys.
Then the 2nd followed them. The 6th stayed where they were. 6th moved slightly to stay within 2.
Yep.
That's very important for everything that's going on here. And then the 2nd just went in. I think they had 3 fights after that.
Yeah. They only had one more with them.
Yes, sorry, yes.
They had one more fight with the 62nd.
Which pushed them again.
Pushed them 2 hexes.
2 hexes, yes.
It was a real heavy hit. I think the losses weren't particularly crazy again. I think
it might have been 15%?
Yeah, 15%.
Oh, it was even... Because weirdly, the way the hexes, the retreat work is the higher the number... Because, have we talked about this? You roll, and that number is your percentage losses.
Yes, you roll the 2 6-sided dice.
But you then also... that'll give you like 50... They go up in 5s.
Yeah, it
how
gives
much
you the
lose.
Percentage loss, which is determined, but then there's other things that dice roll works for.
And you add them together?
Yeah, so say you roll a 34, it's a 7 for some purposes.
And one of them is the retreat table.
Which is
at the bottom of it.
You're looking at 4 to 6 is like a 1 hex retreat, 7 to 8 is a 2 hex retreat, for example.
But they are arranged a bit weirdly, where it might be like 1 to 4 and then 6 to 8.
There's gaps.
And then there's just a gap. But typically, the higher you get, the more retreat. But the lower you get on the casualties. So if you get an 11, that's maximum casualties.
Yes.
But it's not going to be maximum retreat.
Yes, you tend to do more damage.
I think I got like a 64. So I did like 5% maybe, but got the 2 hex because it was... No, it was a 65 because it was 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. You did 0.
Yes, that's it.
You did 0% losses on that last hit on them, and I decided I can either hold them in place and they take 20%, because for every hex you refuse to retreat, you lose 10%.
Yep.
Or I can just accept that they haven't actually lost anyone here, and they have to move further back, which I did. So they moved 2 hexes back. It means they do still have a zone of control that prohibits movement past them to Bardia.
Yes.
And they haven't lost anyone.
Because is it... I need to double check it. Is it... They have to have one actual toe point worth of defense or attack to have a zone of control.
I believe so. I will double check that as well. That's important for some of my guys because some of them are bare bones.
Yeah.
But yeah, they ended up having to move back 2 hexes. That's okay. I'd rather they move back 2 and don't lose any guys and still have a zone of control just a bit further west.
Yeah.
That was fine. So you decided after that it was time to go for the next part of this wall.
Slightly south again with the 2nd New Zealand.
Yeah, they were your the head of the spear
this session.
And you went for the Maletti division.
Yes.
The Maletti division have been a real rock in the road.
I think every turn I've taken significant percentages off them.
They've just been sat there. I did actually look through their sheet, and it is most turns you've had a fight with them.
Yeah.
And most turns, they take damage, but not crazy amounts.
No, they seem to have held up really well.
They've either been in fights that have been kind of balanced by the looks of it on the sheet, or you've just rolled badly, and they've ended up taking minimal losses and just kind of held their own.
Yeah.
So they just keep on coming back. They're a bad penny. They keep on turning up. And you fought them, I think it was 3. Was it 4? 3 or 4?
3. Yeah, 3.
3 fights. And the first 2 were just dismal in the damage
Rolled
that you did.
Very badly, yeah. But because of the dismal damage roll, I did get a little bit of damage from you refusing a retreat.
Yes. So there was a 15 and then a 15 again.
This is where were these the guys with 2 infantry and 1 gun?
Yes.
That's when this pin happened.
That's right. Yeah. You pinned one of their infantry and they stood strong. You chipped them away. You took out 2 of the battalions in the end. You took out what was left of 2 battalions.
And the gun.
And the gun is gone. So there's 1 battalion left.
It's just the headquarters shell, isn't it?
And then you took out the last one. Yeah. So yeah, in that order, so that was 3. And then you left them at the end of the 3rd combat because they no longer exert a zone of control.
Yeah, they're just a shell. Just an HQ unit.
And with just an HQ, they are still on the map. They're still a hex, but they only exist on that hex. They don't exert the zone of control of 1 hex around them.
Which means I could fight them, or I can just go around them.
Exactly. And at this point, are you really going to waste time fighting them?
No. So that was big shout out, I guess, to the 2nd New Zealand, because they managed to get what this all sort of culminated in is the 7th have all their CPA at the minute and are not pinned from either mechanically pinned or positionally from your guys.
Yes, you've freed up your guys with that. I'm also going to give a shout out to the Mileti division for standing strong because it was a 15% loss, and then they sacrificed another 10% to not retreat. Same thing happened on the next one, and then on the final one, you picked apart what was left of them. So they stood strong all the way to the end, didn't lose any ground, but did lose everyone there.
Yeah,
the Mileti division is effectively now gone, leaving just the shell. That's another one of my divisions taken apart by a very committed attack by you. You lost cohesion points making the last part of the attack.
They went... The 2nd New Zealand started this op stage with 10 cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
The outside still has 4.
The HQ unit.
Yeah, but the infantry inside is less. It's like minus now.
And something to make clear as well, because I don't know how often we've actually touched on this in terms of the combat, because it didn't come up very often at the start. So when we wrap up combat, so say it's, my turn's over and it goes over to Andy for his land stuff. So he'll move all of his units, and then if any of his units are within a hex, a fight breaks out.
2.
No, within a hex.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. If you're within a hex, if you're adjacent to any of my units, they have to fight.
Yeah.
Because you're there. So you have to initiate the fight. You're the attacker. The fight resolves, and then at the end of that, you've satisfied the requirement for a fight. The turn can end. The op stage can end. However, you can also choose to repeat all the steps again of your part of the op stage in terms of the fighting mechanic. So you can then go for a fight again in the same place, or if you have had a unit who's ended their movement within 2 hexes of an enemy, so they don't need to have been involved in a fight, just within 2 hexes, so outside of a zone of control, they can move.
Yes.
And at that stage, that could trigger another fight. And as long as, by the end of a phase of combat, a phase of land movement, everyone adjacent to someone has fought, then you can either wrap it up there, or you can, in theory, do that until the cows come home, or until your cohesion forces a surrender and there's nothing to do anymore.
Yeah.
You can just keep on going. So that's what we mean by a second phase of land movement, a second phase of combat.
Yes, because I guess that... when you're talking about the rules and people are like, you do all of it and then you loop up stage, and then it's repeat
That's
all of that
thing.
3 times. One of the things inside that can
also
be an
loops.
infinite recursion.
Yeah, so to boil down the bracket of how the turn works, you've got the full turn.
Yeah.
The turn has 3 op stages, wherein all of these things have to happen 3 times. But each op stage, we can each, on our turn, repeat the land movement segment over and over in perpetuity until we're either bored, have a tactical resolution, or the guys die
run
off,
out of CPA basically is.
Yeah, if we run out of ammo, or the game resolves itself in a way that there can't be another fight. So that's what's happened, and towards the end of this, we found that those repeat phases are happening more and more because we just want to keep on going.
They're also so useful because you can get someone and then you can be like, if this fight goes well, this is how they'll react.
Yes. And cohesion refreshes at the end of an op stage. It does not refresh at the end of a phase.
CPA.
What did I
Cohesion.
say? Oh, shit.
Cohesion.
Okay. That's going to confuse things.
Yeah.
Forget that part. Scratch that from the record. Cohesion, that doesn't reset. CPA does. CPA resets at the end of each op stage.
But the full op stage, so being attacked also costs CPA.
Yes.
And potentially if your unit gets attacked a bunch in the other player's turn, you could start, if you're second in the op stage, with no CPA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So my guys that moved, the black shirts that moved around next to the gun unit, and the gun they did move as well, the garrison. So they are starting with a bit of a deficit. They've lost some CPA already. So then if they were to be attacked still in this op stage, they are starting on the back foot because it's your part of the op stage.
Yes.
But they are still suffering the fallout from my part.
Yeah.
And that is an interesting point because the op stage isn't over.
No, because I got to a trifork in the road.
Yeah, a bit of a tactical stalemate.
So because I've freed up the 7th, they can if they push themselves, they can get to Tobruk. They can also get to Bardia now.
Yep.
Or my third option I'm weighing up is you've got 4 divisions clumped pretty close to each other, and this will require a rules check to see if it's even possible. But if I move the 4th Indian and the 16th at the bottom of the escarpment, and then I move the 3 guys at the top of the escarpment round, we might potentially have a 5 versus 5 division fight.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another option I'm weighing up.
Now that would be certainly a cataclysmic end to the scenario.
Yes.
Where we end up having all of our, well, more or less all of our divisions clash against each other around the escarpment and fight.
Which is kind of why I don't know if it's a great tactical move, but I am fighting.
It would be a lot of fun.
Because the thing is, if I take Tobruk, I'd win.
Because you've got Siwa.
If I take Bardia, I win.
Sorry, if you take Tobruk, you win in general, as long as you can supply it to and from Cairo.
Which I guess I probably won't be able to, but I guess taking Tobruk will be... I'll count it, even if you get the bueno.
Okay, I see. And if you take Bardia, you need to have Bardia, Sidi Barani, and Siwa, I think Maddalena.
All of which I'm the last one to go through.
Yep, you're the last one through Maddalena. I could take that away from you.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. But, yeah, so you've got a few different scenarios here. So you've got 2 win conditions you can go for, or you can go for the secret third option, the bad ending, which is where we all just die in a massive blood fight, and the second op stage becomes the end of the scenario, and the third op stage is the epilogue, in which we crawl around the desert trying to get to a win condition with no intact divisions.
Yeah, so we ended there because I was just weighing them up and we were running on. But, end of this op stage and then next. I also just thought of something that could just be a hilarious, like, fly in the ointment for the end of this. Is if it's just
bad weather.
All 5 maps, like sand. Actually, Sandstorm wouldn't be that bad for this at this point.
Would it not?
Because it would cancel the air out, but it would probably cancel it out for both of us.
If it's on all the maps, yeah.
Yeah. Rain would be worse, maybe. Although, is anyone using roads at the minute? We're sort of in between the 2 roads.
We're all on tracks at this point, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not that much. Hot might be an issue just for breakdown.
Breakdown wouldn't be great. I've not moved a whole lot this time, so I don't need to worry.
The land stage isn't going to be encumbered by weather. Potentially, there's no air.
We might have done the last air stuff for the whole scenario.
Yeah, weirdly, that when we start the full game, if a sort of astronomical level of bad chance happens, that is potentially true from the first turn.
That's true. That could always happen.
332 turns of bad weather after the first.
Yeah, if all the op stages by chance are that. I mean,
if that happens, everyone listening buy lottery tickets because we've broken probability. Something's going on.
Yeah, we should figure that out actually and see what the odds are of that happening. But I think
it would be one of those things where it's like, oh, this number is actually more than all of the atoms in the universe. Like, you know,
when you shuffle a deck of cards with like factorial stuff. Like it's to the point where it's so unlikely. It's more likely that we'd phase through the table while trying to rest against it and play the game.
Yeah.
So, if that happens, Andy, if you know what? At that point, we're not buying lottery tickets. I'm just angry. We get to the end of the game, we don't got to do any air stuff. Well, that's one of my favourite parts.
I am glad we have all the weather now, and correctly, not.
We've actually had a sandstorm. The only other fun little Easter egg that I came across today was you divulge what was happening in Siwa.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is a little one for everyone. After the long-range desert group were basically useless, they just need stores and water once a turn. But because they weren't doing anything, they've been sitting at Siwa for like the last 2 or 3 turns.
And they're not placed down on the map, so I never knew they were there.
Yeah.
But they've just been hiding away in Siwa in the Oasis.
We were saying, because the Siwa Oasis is right next to the bottom of the map, but at the bottom of the map has the Great Libyan Sand Sea bit. And I just like to picture the long-range desert group were just using Siwa to go and explore that desert and not involved in there.
Well, I was telling you as well, one of my plans was, as I was weighing up my land movement, do I motorize one of my guys and just dart them down to Siwa and fight your few guys that you have there? Which would have been funny, because I would have, if I killed those guys, you would have also then had to reveal I'd, by chance, also by, circumstance.
You've killed Bagnall!
I just killed the long-range desert group.
And the Bros.
So that would have been a fun Easter egg, but at least I know where they are. They're out of sight. Not quite out of mind, because I guess they might still do something. But at this stage, what would that look like? They've never done anything yet. They're not going to pull that out the bag now.
I don't know if it's just because they rolled badly, and I got this impression, or they're just, the way it's designed, they're not particularly useful. I don't see myself using them until the SAS arrive for the main game.
Yeah, they've been terrible. I'm sorry to say, but your history segment is wrong.
Yeah. It also costs... To create it, you have to spend a tow from a recon unit.
Which are usually really good.
All my recon units have 45 CPA. I don't know if yours are the
45?
Yeah.
Mine are like 30?
I'll double check, but I think most of my armored car units have 45 CPA.
Whoa,
they tend
to
be like 2 assault, 3 defense, or 3 assault, 4 defense. They also tend to be the heaviest hitters.
That's wild.
In a division.
Yeah, I mean that's a high rating, and with that CPA, that's just diabolically scary. You can move them anywhere, really.
Well, that's why they went and got the Siwa.
Yeah,
because it was like, just go do that. Also, we'll need to look at, you can upgrade them.
To be what?
There's rules. Armored cars in particular have upgrade rules after a certain turn.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that.
So yeah, and they're already scary as shit.
I'll watch out for that in the main game, and then that's not fun. Well, Andy, we're nearly done with Op Stage 2. There's going to be one big move by the sounds of it from you. And then after that, we're on the home stretch.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Good about the game in general. The situation, I don't know if I feel good, but I'm excited about this. Is like this is a good point in a competitive game where it's like the rules have kind of sort of not fallen away. They obviously inform everything.
But we don't have to worry about the large scale of it anymore. We can kind of throw the book out when it comes to trucks. when it comes to long-form planning. Now it is just get to the end, get to the objective. I can defend it with all my might. You can attack it with all your might.
Yeah.
And we don't need to worry too much about what happens in 5 weeks' time or 10 years' time. We can just worry about what happens next week.
Yeah. And I'm also super thrilled it has built to a crescendo.
So
Because I was
so
a
much.
bit worried when we were finishing up stage 3 of turn 5 that this might end up with like the wall. I'm just slamming against it, but it holds. I don't make any progress. You don't make any progress. And the last turn doesn't have any effect. Far from it.
I do have,
Far from it.
based on that, more faith on the longevity of the game. I think maybe the game rules do hold up for pendulum and for change of strength. I think it means that the game can actually ebb and flow in a way that it needs to run as long as it does.
Yeah.
So I think, my opinion is, at the moment, the game state, I don't know who's going to win.
Which is great. That's what you want.
I want the uncertainty. I want the excitement, and I'm enjoying it as it is, day to day now. Every time we're playing, I'm having a fun time.
It's the opposite of the complaint of why I don't like Monopoly, which is you do the first few turns and they're exciting.
And then you know what's
happening. It's a massive tail and you just know who's going to win. So I'm glad it hasn't fallen into that trap.
Far from it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this goes, but there is not much time left. It's last innings.
It is.
It's right before the buzzer. We've got the end of Upstage 2. Then it's one final Upstage. That is wild. And I guess we'll pick up the gameplay next time.
Yep.
For now, we will take a step back from the map. We'll take a breather. And we'll delve into that mailbag and see what you folk have got to say about this whole bit of shenanigans. Let's have a little delve into that big burlap sack. And what do we have here? It's an email from Linus. I believe that's the pronunciation. Linus.
Well, seems right. Apologies if it's not.
Correct us if not, Linus, or Linus, if that is correct. The Arrival is the title of the email. Hello, y'all. Love a y'all. And greetings from Sweden and one of your younger listeners. My name is Linus, and I have just caught up with the latest episode a few days after my 17th birthday, after half a year of listening, and I am finally writing an email. Well, just think, at that current pace, you'll be able to write emails up until your retirement age by the time we wrap up.
Yeah.
It's an exciting prospect. Look back upon the golden age of your life and remember what you were doing back then, how you, I suppose, wasted your youth listening to this.
We don't know if he was doing something productive while it was on.
Possibly, but I mean, you can only pay attention so much to this and also do something productive. Yeah. If you're writing an email, you've paid attention, and if you paid attention, you're not doing anything worthwhile. And that's a message to all of our listeners.
Sorry, Linus.
The podcast has inspired me to learn the game myself, and it is not as complicated as I thought. That is
that's
well to hear. But that might just be because I've yet to read the air rules. Air rules aren't as complicated as it's made out to be. The book does make reference to them being complicated, but they're actually not.
No, they're one of the really very simple parts.
It is very much just one-on-one dogfight, or, like we said before, count up your bombs, drop your bombs.
Yeah.
So, you know what? If you found the rest of it fairly straightforward, you will actually have a pretty alright time with the rest. If you've read the logistics stuff and everything else, you'll be fine.
But don't finish before us.
If you finish before us, we'll actually cry on mic. We'll just do that every week for the remainder of the time we'd spend playing the game. So bear in mind, that will ruin whatever you're listening to while you do your thing. I have a question. Will you publish the addenda you've created?
Yeah,
absolutely. We will be doing that at some point. We haven't come across many things to update in a while now because so much of it, the addenda stuff that we found we needed to correct, is quite glaring parts of the game. It's either designation of units or it's rules that contradict themselves directly when it comes to stuff like land movement or combat.
I imagine we've also been in a chunk of rules we understand fairly well, so we might run into them again when I start looking at Commonwealth production and you're looking at how you get a certain amount of automatic airplanes for Malta stuff from the North Coast. And
the Malta stuff will be interesting. That some of the any of the mechanics that come in later in the game based on just units that I have, movement types, my equivalent of the SAS and like the commandos.
Yeah, desert commandos.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Maybe there'll be some stuff in there, but we definitely will publish that at some stage. We should have a read over, I think, when we finish the scenario.
I think maybe put it up before we start so people can see what addenda we are working with.
That's a good idea. We should do that and maybe even refresh everyone's memory of the addenda that came with the game.
Yes.
That's probably a good idea. Another unrelated question is if you will post any pictures from the live show on the website. I unfortunately can't come, so I wonder if you had any plans on sharing what happens there. Yes, this came in before the live show, of course. So we do have, at the moment, the live show is only available on TikTok. It's the full thing. It's a full recording of the whole thing on our TikTok page. It's just War with a Mate. We're getting it uploaded to YouTube soon. We've figured out some storage stuff, so it should be there actually pretty quick.
Be up.
Well, we'll not commit for
we'll
certain,
not commit, but soon.
Next couple of weeks, we really hope. So you can see it all there. It was a really fun time, and thanks again for everyone who came along that listened. You guys were great. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And now for something completely different. One thing that struck me during World War II, the railways were completely dominated by steam trains. Think of the massive quantities of water that they drink and the mountains of coal they eat. Very poetic, by the way. I like that a lot. And the fact that in some rare places, German World War II era steam trains are still operational and used is astounding. I will return soon. I like that. A nice little sort of stinger there in amongst it. From your subtle, humble, and brave Swedish friend, Linus.
Thanks very much for that, Linus.
Yes. Lovely that you're spending your youth listening to us. We're very flattered. And when it comes to the train stuff, because we only get a small section of that cut out in the game, which is just the one railroad.
And it's all... Weirdly, it's one of the bits of the game that's just incredibly automatic.
Yeah, it doesn't ask for coal. It doesn't. They could have easily been like, well, you need coal points that you can only get from certain towns or cities, and the coal takes 5 CPA to load in, and if there's evaporation, hot weather, the coal's less effective because of the water differential.
It feels like there's a version of this game that started with the train rules. In like an alternate reality, Richard Berg didn't do the map; he did the train.
If he was one of those guys really into trains, then maybe it would have been a train game instead. But unfortunately, his hyperfixation and special interest is everything.
Well, he did make a bunch of other games, so I wonder.
He did, but this is really his magnum opus.
This is, yeah.
You can't really go back from this into any other direction.
No, I guess not.
Once you've done this, that's it.
But maybe let's have a look, see if he's got any games that are like actually short.
He might. We should have a look.
If this was like a parody / you want to do your mega games, here's the ultimate one, stop it. He maybe actually didn't like, I don't know, we'd have to look into it. Like, yeah, let's see if we can find some of his other games.
Yeah, maybe we'll pick that up in the hiatus. We'll learn another complicated war game in the interim. But thank you for that, Linus, and best of luck growing up.
Yeah.
and stop learning to play the game. You've got better ways to spend your youth. Thrive, grow as a person, form your frontal lobe without the campaign for North Africa becoming part of it. I don't know what that does to a person's psyche. But we have another email.
We do, from Callum.
It's titled New Listener.
It is. Hey, gents. I've been listening to you for a couple of weeks now on episode 13, and things are starting to make progress. I'm intrigued to know if by episode 75 you've finally had anyone contact you. We have. Thank you.
We've had plenty, but thank you, Callum, when you catch up to this.
And if you've started the main game or finished any of the shorter scenarios yet, we're almost there.
Nearly. Almost. And that was episode 75, so that's nearly 10 episodes ago. So, nearly. We've nearly started playing the game.
Yeah. I'm trying to convince a mate to play with me on Tabletop Sim. He's slowly getting convinced.
Stop. What are we doing to these people? Callum, stop. Don't do it. If you caught up by now, I fear it's probably already too late.
I feel like we've been doing it. We're doing this so you don't have to. And people are going, that looks fun.
What you've got to bear in mind is when we're recording the episode afterwards, this is the release at the end of it. So unless you're setting aside like a couple of hours after each play session to sit and wax lyrical about it, this won't be as jovial a situation. And bearing in mind, a good third of these episodes, I'm in a bad mood. So factor that in, Callum.
But if you do decide to go ahead, I guess all power to you. Have fun, but...
Yeah, we've done it. Let us know how it's going as well.
Any major faux pas you've had in the preparation of the game you'd recommend avoiding? At least playing digitally, we can save the board, etc., saving the hours of setup. I would like to buy the physical game, however it looks to be about 1k on the usual auction sites.
Yeah, I mean, it's we bought it for around that. It was expensive.
Yeah,
we committed to a project that's going to last a lifetime. But if you're doing this knowing you might drop out at some point based on friends' availability, I mean, the podcast was an accountability tool to keep us going. It's been a lot of fun, but we needed it there to actually play the game.
And I guess also we were fine sort of devaluing the game because we're trying to do something with it.
Yeah, we've covered it in blue
I
tack.
would recommend, like, if you can play on the tabletop, I think it's a cool thing to own for any board game collector.
Oh, as a collector, it's a massively cool piece.
If you try to play the game, you're going to just destroy the value of the collector's piece, so I guess weigh that up.
Yeah.
Not to discourage, but if the tabletop sim works, I'd go for that.
The tabletop sim's probably a good way to dip your toes in the water, and if it is something you really are interested in, I think give it a go.
Then go for it, yeah.
In terms of...
they occasionally pop up, we keep an eye out, they occasionally pop up for like less, where someone clearly doesn't.
Every few weeks you'll see a copy of it, and every few months there's one that starts at a fairly low bid.
Yeah.
Ours started kind of low, and the one we bought, to be fair, sold less than some of the ones that go nowadays.
Yeah.
The one we got was just shy of 1,000, and some of them are like 1.5. So it's it can be costly. I would say the biggest faux pas, and it sounds like a cop-out, and it sounds like I'm getting a little bit too philosophical, but was maybe starting the game. If you're committing to playing this, bearing in mind if you're spending that kind of money on it, it's a big old game to play. The novelty is there at the start. The novelty really wanes quite quickly. You'll be shocked at how quickly it does after you've learned the rules, and when you start playing, the disparity between those two periods of time is crazy.
I will say, when we were reading the rules, it's honestly, like, obviously read the rules over, but I wouldn't, if you're going to go in, we probably spent too much time doing the like white box scenarios and stuff, where it was like, I don't actually think they helped because they're contextless. And I think, unfortunately, the thing with board games, all board games, is read the rules and then start playing, and they'll make sense to you.
That's a very good thing to say, actually. I think, maybe remove any practice white box stuff. If you're going to do a practice thing, I think maybe if you want to just get a feel of the game, you want to try it out, do this scenario. I think Graziani's Offensive is a really fun scenario. You don't have to worry about too many units bogging it down. The conditions to win are kind of simple, and it's enough room to pendulum from what we've seen.
It's also not one of those super late, like the Rommel scenarios, they seem to start, you have a ton of units that are already in like fighting positions.
Yeah.
I'd recommend, I think the scenario Graziani's Offensive is probably the one to start with.
We can only speak to one scenario. It's this one.
Yeah,
and to be fair, based on what we know of the game, I think this is your best shot. If you finish that, first of all, wow. And secondly, at that point, if you want to continue playing, maybe that's when you do. If I wasn't doing this and I got to the end of the scenario in a few weeks whenever we finish this, I would probably give myself a pat on the back and go, that was crazy that we played that.
Cool experience.
I'm never do that
putting this
again.
Away in a cupboard and never touching it again.
I'm selling this for whatever I can now. It's punched, but, never mind.
Yeah.
That would be it.
So final part, are there any other war games you guys would be interested in playing now that you've started playing the most famous one? Not... I think if we finish this, I wouldn't be against a mid-board game. Like a mid-war game. where it might take 2 or 3 sessions, like that kind of thing. I'm not doing, what is it, Code Blue? That's like the one.
Case Blue, I think.
Whatever. We joke about like rerunning it, but realistically, I think you get one big war game for your life to like figure out. And we've picked this one, unfortunately.
I genuinely don't know if I would play another war game, like another Hex Encounter war game. I think
I'd play one if it was in the war game. I guess then it's not a war game if you can finish it in an after. It's probably just a board game, I guess.
I don't know how I feel about this right now. I think I might have to revisit this question in a little while, maybe when we're a few weeks into the full game. Because right now, I feel like I'm at the end of this. And it's I know deep down that isn't the case. I'm just starting. It's not even the full game yet.
But it is a milestone we're hitting.
I'm getting this like sense of relief in my body and mind where I'm kind of worried it's like, when people retire after working till they're like 85.
And then
they stop working, then they just die. Like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I kind of worry I'll have that.
Okay.
Where I'll stop thinking about it for too long. And I'll cease to function. So I don't think delving into another war game, I think that's as damaging.
I also certainly don't want to do it while we're playing this, because I don't want rule confusion or being like, I swear it's this, and then it's like, oh, that was from some other game. Like, because I will, like, we do that with D&D when we've gone from 5e to the
Anything
2024 edition, where sometimes it'll be like, I'm doing, oh, damn it, I'm thinking of a feature I would have had in the last edition.
I also can't play with anyone other than you, because I know if I played with anyone else, and it would be such an innocent thing to say, but at any point, if I sort of went, oh, sorry, I've got this confused because I'm playing the campaign for North Africa as well, I'd look like such a dickhead.
Yeah.
That just sounds like such a wanky, I'm better than you. Oh, sorry, I'm confused because I'm playing the really long one that no one's finished before, supposedly. And they're like, right, okay, you're just showing off. And I'm like, no, Dad, I don't mean to. I don't know that one either. I'm confused.
Sorry, I didn't
too.
enjoy the Avengers with you. I've been watching a lot of like 1920s French films recently. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I've slipped into my French accent because I watch them so often. What? No, you haven't. But I would mean it innocently.
I can't play Forza Horizon because I've been grinding Desert Bus.
Oh, that's a game. Hey, that is the video game equivalent of this game. Just if you strip back all of the complexity and just keep the length.
It's just, is it left or right? It's a specific.
It drifts right.
So
slowly.
you just tap left every
now and then. You have to like hold down for a few seconds and let it go. Oh man. That game's on my mind now. But thank you, Callum. Thank you, Linus. And thank you, everyone else who's emailed over. As you'll know from the context of those, we're getting through some emails that came in just before the live show. So by all means, fire stuff over. We'll have a hiatus between the practice run and the full game. We won't be completely gone. We'll still be releasing episodes every single week. Don't worry about that. We'll just be working on how to streamline everything in between, how we're going to structure the full podcast. I mean, the segments will still be the same, but how we're going to make sure you guys can see all of the pictures of the map properly, the sheets, give you some real coherent updates throughout. So we'll work on some bits and pieces and also mail during that time. So fire anything over you want to. The email is info@warwiththemate.co.uk. The Instagram, if you want to follow that, is just warwiththemate. The website will be getting a revamp when it comes to the full thing. It's warwiththemate.co.uk. And keep an ear out, because as we wrap up the scenario, we'll be trying to make this hiatus as big a thing as possible, and the big finale and the big start will be 2 big milestones, and we want you there for it. So watch this space for what's going to make that up. But that's what's coming.
Thank you very much for that.
That is the future, Andy.
It is.
And this game isn't about the future. This isn't Cyber Desert 2077. This is the campaign for North Africa. So to keep the verisimilitude of what we're doing, the only way to do so is to go into the past.
We got to go back.
History.
The men of the long-range desert patrols were quite a sight on their return to Cairo from a month's trip to Libya. The contrast between the east and west of the Nile is very marked. In the east, the country...
At this point, I gave little thought to my future, but had always been interested in boats in the sea. I am more or less in the position of a captain in command of a ship, which is on the point of sinking because errors are present.
We are absolutely not qualified to share views on history. So, Andy, where and when are we?
We are... Well, we'd been running up to World War One.
We have. It's been in our process.
Found out why the British, the Italians, and the Ottomans got involved.
Yeah, they've all made some missteps. They've all been doing their best to either keep a treaty in place or undercut a treaty. Most have been doing both.
A lot of secret treaties as well.
Yeah, which is a bad way to keep a treaty, because you kind of need to know they exist to keep them in function.
Yeah. So we're going to figure out what happened to the various guys who got involved, and we're going to start with the Ottomans.
Ah, a classic. I've been enjoying their tale.
Yes. Well, I guess we'll see how it ends.
Oh, dear.
So we'll start... This is a poem from the diary of Mehmed Fashu, who was in the Ottoman army at Gallipoli. This is from his diary, 27th October, 1915. Graves lie open throughout the world. Lightning has blighted the rose gardens. Soldiers have become corpses. Heroes are now carrion for wild beasts.
I like it. I like it. It's painting some pretty grim imagery, but I guess that's what's going on right now.
Oh, it is. So World War One is fought between 28th of July 1914 and 11th of November 1918 between Allied powers Britain, France, Russia, with late additions from the US and Italy, against Germany, Austria, and the Ottoman Empire. Between 65 and 74 million soldiers are mobilized for this conflict across the globe.
Wow, that's more than I thought.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, the world population at this point is about 1.8 billion.
So that's a hefty chunk then.
Yeah, it's about 5%.
Yeah. It's shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of guys.
Roughly 48 million for the Allies and 26 million for the Central Powers. An estimated 9 to 11 million soldiers died. When you include civilian fatalities caused by starvation, disease, and genocide, the total rises to between 15 and 20 million. And that's not the most devastating thing that's happening at this point.
Fuck, okay, I'm kind of scared to see what that's going to be.
Because I've excluded the Spanish flu, which crops up at the end of World War One.
Right, okay.
That kills an estimated 17 to 50 million, possibly up to 100 million people.
Sorry, what the fuck is that scale? 17 to 50?
Yeah,
and then
potentially up to 100, because there's a world war going on. Documentation, shit.
So how many of them have been sort of lost in amongst the war?
Yeah.
How many have been...
50 million's maybe the like midpoint of that estimation range, but it's...
That's what I'd like to think if I'm taking that swing between the two. But I guess with that 100 million, is that being looked at from the perspective of that many people are dead and we just don't know what the cause was based on everything being lost in amongst it?
Countries weren't doing censuses. People were disappearing because of the war. It's just a horrible time to keep track of.
So around this time, have we got 100 million dead people? We just don't know what the causes of death are amongst the pool of dead.
Yeah, well, to continue, if you take World War One and the Spanish flu together, between 65 million and 122 million people lost their lives between those two events.
Fucking hell. So yeah, you've got another 22 million leeway beyond that.
Yeah, which is probably the war, because they were up to 22.
So you're looking at 10% of the world died.
3.9 to 6.8% of all the people alive died within this 5-year period.
God almighty, that's not a figure I've ever heard, and that makes that period of history just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and these
never heard that before.
Two things directly feed into each other, because you've got millions of soldiers in cramped, unhygienic conditions like trenches, the bowels of transport ships,
yeah,
prisoner of war camps.
Perfect breeding grounds for any disease,
Yeah.
let alone one that's hyper contagious.
And you've also got people rotating in and out from the front.
So taking it back home,
Or
taking it back out of the front.
to the front.
And then from the front it goes to enemy soldiers, back to their home country,
Yeah.
back to wherever they're occupying.
Yeah. Plus, you've got widespread malnutrition, starvation, and injury, which is weakening people's resistance to the disease.
I mean, yeah, we heard about the stuff in just Britain alone.
Yeah.
About the threshold for a competent person for warfare. And if you're not competent to fight in a war, I can't imagine you're competent to fight off a disease either.
No. And it gets exacerbated because most people didn't know the Spanish flu was happening when it was happening.
Do we have years on this that are coming as to the span of the Spanish flu?
I think it's 1917 or 18, and then it's a few years.
Yes, right on the back end.
Yeah.
'Cause that's something I've got no scale for that at all. Spanish flu.
Part of the reason they didn't know this was happening was because every country involved in the war had strict control of the media through legislation. For example, the British had passed the Defense of the Realm Act, and the United States had the Sedition Act, but every country had their own version of it.
Yeah.
Where they could control the media for the war effort.
So it's all propaganda, and none of it is, oh, hang on a minute, everyone's really fucking sick.
Well, they don't want to publish information about the flu because it'll affect morale and production and imply they're weak to their enemies. So the only country where any of this is coming out is Spain because it's neutral.
Hang on a minute, I kind of see where the name is coming from here.
Yeah, because it didn't originate in Spain.
I thought as much.
Various theories for where it originated. One is the trenches. Another is Kansas.
Kansas?
Yeah. There was just a disease that originated in Kansas and then
That's interesting.
spread. But regardless, it's called the Spanish flu because
They were the ones who talked
reporting
about it.
on it at the time. Nothing to do with the origin of it. So, as well as the cost to human lives, World War I also saw the death of 4 empires. The first one we'll cover is the Ottomans. They, as had been recent form for the last few centuries, were having a bad time. Mm-hmm. They're fighting on 4 fronts.
4?
Yeah. The first is they're fighting the Russians in the Caucasus Mountains, which is a nightmare battlefield.
I think fighting on any mountain,
Yeah.
you don't want that.
To give you a sense, this mountain range is roughly 1,250 to 1,500 kilometers long. And most of the fighting was happening at an average on plateaus that are an average of 1,500 to 2,000 meters above sea level.
So the altitude there is crazy.
Yeah. These problems are also exacerbated by the fact that Enver Pasha tried to launch an assault over these mountains into Russia in winter, which is a historically bad idea.
I hope no one does that again.
One group, from what I know, have ever pulled that off. And that's the Mongols, who are history's great exception.
Well, at least no one tries this again later in history.
Dozens of times.
Surely not another world war, though. That would be crazy.
Yeah. I guess people who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it.
Well, no one would do this who's been in a world war.
Certainly not the one we're talking about now.
Surely not.
So here's some more descriptions from diary entries. These are all from February 13th, 1916, from the memoir of Mehmet Arif Olsian, an Ottoman soldier fighting Russia on this front. These, I just want to remind you, are all from the same day.
I was just about to say, yeah, you said all of them are from 13th of February.
This is snippets from one diary entry that I've picked out.
Are they all just screams written down?
The blizzard is continuing in all its fury. The sun has probably risen, but it is impossible to see 10 paces ahead. The blizzard, the storm, 2 long days and 2 long nights. We are tired to the point of exhaustion. Another part of the same entry. Our 3-hour climb had come to an end. We joined the regiment and settled into the trenches that were assigned to us. They're doing trench warfare.
In a mountain range.
2,000 meters above sea level. In a mountain range.
How fucking low are these guys digging?
Yeah. And this is the order they get. I recall the order that had been sent by the Army High Command. Your positions represent the honor of the army. They are in the center of the division and are your graves. That's an order they got sent.
That's not an order. That's a really fucked up promise.
Yeah. So this campaign goes horribly, as you can imagine, for the Ottomans.
I thought as much.
It would have gone so much worse, but the 1917 Russian Revolution happens, and that pulls Russia out of the war completely. The Russians probably, if the revolution hadn't happened, would have got to Constantinople before the end of World War One.
God.
While all that's going on, they're fighting the British in the Middle East for control of oil fields and the Suez Canal. The British went into what's currently the south of modern-day Iraq. This is one of the few Ottoman victories during all of World War One. Something called the Siege of Kut al-Amara, where the British army is entirely surrounded and captured.
Oh, wow.
The British do manage to regroup, and by 1917, they take control of the region and secure the oil fields.
What do you mean regroup? I thought they were surrounded.
Send in another army.
Oh, right. I think they slinked around from inside.
They all get captured, and then they send in another army and get those guys out and continue.
So they surrounded the surrounding forces.
Yeah. While this is going on, the Germans also, the Ottomans, with the help from the Germans, launch a raid across the Sinai Desert against the Suez Canal. That's the east bit of Egypt, past the Nile. There's that little bit that goes down between the Arab Peninsula and Africa.
Yes.
That's the Sinai Desert, and they attack through that.
Okay. That's a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Just going off hexes on the map.
It's off the map.
Yeah, but going off like that environment around there.
No,
That's not a nice place to push through.
Well, this is the area Bagnall drove through to get to Petra.
Oh,
where they were really struggling.
Yeah.
All the wire I mentioned that was in the desert and was like whipping up under the cars and causing all the problems.
Yeah.
That's wire they laid to get their troops across the desert here.
Wow, so it sits there.
It's there for 20 years. It's probably a lot of it's still there now. But this is what Bagnall's dealing with in the 30s.
Oh, wow, so we're setting up some prequel info here.
Yeah. The British repel this attack and then push north and eventually capture north and east and eventually capture Jerusalem in December. More diary entries here. These are from the diary of Isman Turjman, an Arab soldier who fought in Palestine. This is a quote I just like the sentiment of, "I cannot imagine myself fighting in the desert front, and why should I go to fight for my country? I'm Ottoman by name only, for my country is the whole of humanity."
I like that. That's a really profound diary entry.
Yeah, that and they were just found some weirdly profound diary entries from Ottomans at the time.
I wonder if it is that sort of strange culmination of so many different cultures within the Ottoman Empire, where you get these kind of weirdly beautiful snippets.
Yeah.
Where they're so kind of thought-provoking and weirdly unified in their sentiment. Whereas, take what a diary entry would be now if everyone went to war, and you just get a guy from Britain.
Well, it'd be TikToks. Does anyone have a diary anymore?
Everything would just be so dystopian and cynical.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is what the Ottomans are, the Arabs were fighting for the Ottomans are thinking about when they're being sent to fight the British. So, this is a further bit of the same diary entry. Our leaders promised us and other fellow Arabs that we would be partners in this government and that they seek to advance the interests and conditions of the Arab nation. But what they have actually seen from these promises, had they treated us as equals, I would not hesitate to give my blood and my life. But as things stands, I hold a drop of my blood to be more precious than the entire Turkish state. So that's the morale of the Arab soldiers being sent to fight by the Ottomans.
Wow, and I thought the morale in the game was bad when it was -3. You're sitting a -4 there.
Yeah. This attitude also explains why the Ottomans had to deal with the third front they're dealing with, which is the Arab revolt between 1916 and 1918, where Arab nationalists rebelled against Turkish rule, backed by the British. One of the British here is T. Lawrence, aka Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, I see.
Yes. In return for this revolt against the Ottomans, the British promised Hussein bin Ali, the Sharif of Mecca, an independent pan-Arab kingdom stretching across the Middle East in exchange for leading a revolt against the Ottomans. See how that works out for them.
I think they did a film about this.
Yeah. They also had to fight at Gallipoli, which is the Straits of Dardanelles, where Winston Churchill was convinced if they took the...
Conceived? Wow.
No,
what a hectic night that was.
He was around here. This is when he's First Lord of the Sea.
Oh, God.
But he's convinced if they take the Dardanelles, they'll just destroy the Ottoman Empires, get ships into the Black Sea to relieve Russia. In his head, this is the, like, I win this, I win the World War I, basically. The Great War at the time. It's one of the only victories the Ottomans had in World War I. So the Ottomans were led by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, who also fought the Italians in Libya. He was one of the guys who disguised themselves to go through Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of these guys.
Okay.
And he's in charge of this defense, and it turns him into a national hero, which will lay the groundwork for modern Turkey in a lot of ways. Here's an order he gave to the 57th Infantry Regiment. I do not order you to fight. I order you to die. In the time which passes until we die, other troops and commanders can come forward and take our places. So between that and the high command from the Ottomans, it's a very bad vibe. Like, it's a very negative, like...
I'm hearing a lot of orders to die.
To die, yes.
This is your tomb. This is where you'll die.
Yeah, your job is not to fight, it's to die. And then it's just contrasted with the, like, sentiment of, like, the world is my country, the, like, poetry.
This is horrible.
Yeah. The regiment he gave that order to had 100% casualty rate.
Oh. Wow, they followed orders.
Yeah, everyone either killed or wounded.
Jesus.
British ships failed to take the strait from the sea, so the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, or the Anzacs, land on the 15th of April 1915. The Ottoman resistance blunted the attacks, and it entered trench warfare, because that's what happens in World War I.
That was the trend back in the day. If you're in the mountains, if you're not... Wherever you are, bring a shovel, bring your pals.
Yeah. So they're fighting a trench war from April to December that year, when the Allies realize they're not making any progress and do a complete stealth withdrawal and like manage to leave and get back on their ships with no casualties from that and just leave. It's just like, the sunk costs were not paid, we're going. So while this war's going on, there's internal tension and paranoia growing within the Ottoman leadership, unfortunately. In particular, fear of Christian minorities that would side with Russia and the West against them. So starting in 1915, they started a program of deportation and execution in the form of death marches. This results in the displacement of roughly 1.5 million Armenians, as well as Greeks and Assyrians. This is the Armenian genocide, if you've heard of it, is their fear that they will turn against them, which from I saw, there wasn't a lot of, it seems paranoia-driven rather than...
Yeah.
Yeah. So by 1918, the Ottoman Empire is broken financially and militarily. They signed an armistice on October 30th, 1918. This agreement ends hostilities and led to the immediate Allied occupation of most of the Ottoman Empire outside Anatolia, which is just modern-day Turkey for the most part.
Yes.
While also giving them a right to go into any territory in Anatolia they believe is having unrest, which is they'll just go in when they...
We've heard this before, yeah. This is something
Austria
they've been trying to set up for a long time.
Yeah, it's the same pattern. This creates a huge amount of contention, which is compounded by the Sykes-Picot Agreement, which is another secret agreement.
For fuck's sake.
This one is a secret treaty between France and Britain in 1916, where they decide how they're going to split up the Middle East after the Ottoman defeat. So they decide the agreement made did not include did not include a pan-Arab state stretching across the Middle East.
So that was bullshit.
Yeah, they're betraying them as they're getting them on side. They're making this secret deal with the French.
So immediately.
I think they're betraying them before they open correspondence or during correspondence. Yeah, it's just bad shit from the British.
Bad.
So this split gives France direct control over coastal Syria, Lebanon, and southern parts of Turkey, while the rest of Syria was their influence but not direct control. And then Britain has a border to that, which is their indirect control bit, which is the rest of Syria mostly. And then they have direct control over modern-day Iraq, Egypt, etc. And then they also set up the International Brown Zone, which is Palestine and Israel today, which they set up as an international administration due to the religious significance and it being complex. This whole secret agreement gets put into law in 1920, like international law.
Yeah.
So that just becomes how they slice it up. The reason that a lot of the Arabs found out about this is because when the Bolsheviks took over Russia, they found this agreement in the archives and leaked it. Because they were like, this is fun, and leaked it to also cause pressure against their enemies. So they also wanted to split up the Anatolian heartlands, which leads to the Turkish War of Independence between 1919 and 1922, led by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, who fought at Gallipoli. He goes on to repel the invaders, abolish the Ottoman Sultanate, and establish modern-day Turkey in 1923. And that's the end of the Ottoman Empire.
What a cataclysmic conclusion.
Yeah.
Wow, fraught with poetry, orders to die.
Yeah.
And would you believe it? A secret treaty.
The orders just give a sense of how grim the situation is.
I mean, it's sort of a reflection of the state of what's going on there, that there isn't really a next stage and everyone kind of accepts it.
Yeah.
That it's too far gone and that your next order is perish. That's it.
Yeah.
It's over. We're here, someone will take our place. It's done. But then also that weird aspect of, I don't know if it's hope, it doesn't seem like hope, but the whole mankind is my people, and
that feels like a hopeful message from someone who maybe didn't.
I don't even know, is it hope though, or is it just kind of a
I think it's a rejection of
definitely a rejection
of the empire.
A philosophical and
I think it's
spiritual
a great
rejection.
quote.
It's a fucking awesome quote.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, is that one filled with hope, or is it a sort of last despair-filled, based on everything else, moment of, this isn't what I want?
Yeah, it's probably more of that.
This is the reality, but this isn't the reality that I want to have in the end. This isn't what I want to fight and die for.
Yeah.
I guess only one person on the 13th of February knows.
Yeah. But
man, what an end to the Ottoman. We followed them a long way through.
British sneakery.
Fucking no shock there.
Yeah. Trying to invade Russia and win. It's a perfect little snippet on your empire's dying. Do the thing dying empires do.
Go east when it's cold.
They're going north.
Oh god, yeah, they're going
straight north pretty much.
It's up. Oh man, that's an end. That's some harrowing stuff in there. I mean, we had disease, we had genocide. That is just really on all sides the worst situation.
This is much worse than I knew it was bad, but as I've been researching World War One, it's so bad.
The figures of the people that died, nearly fucking, you're looking at 7-8% of people who could have died globally around this period is just staggering.
Yeah.
If you think about that now,
well,
what that stretches up to.
600 million people.
Yeah, you're looking at like the population of the United States.
Yeah.
Just dying in the span of a few years.
It's also like, what the lethality of this, like if we'd done COVID, but against like what we did for COVID against the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
Toast. Like, yeah.
God. Oh, fuck me, really?
Get some lightness in here.
The Fruit Zone.
All right, Andy, what could possibly be your fruit zone right now?
Lychee or tomato?
Oh, great, so it's also badged. Fuck you. Fuck you. Lychee, because I had an emerald iced tea once and it was really nice.
Same. I've been liking lychee recently.
All right.
The Fruit Zone.
What a fucking rogue spot to put that in, by the way. That's insane. All right, cool. Beforehand, I've been enjoying the game the last few weeks. You've hit me with a really heavy history segment.
Yeah, sorry.
We found out that a 17-year-old has been playing the game and finds it to be pretty easy to do. And then you drop that fruit zone. So the common ground now is really going to be tough. So, Andy, I'm gonna hand it over to you. It's time for common ground. And now for something nicer. A little oasis in the war. It's time for some common ground. I'm trying the intro for common ground. I'm recording it. Maybe. Common Ground is, of course, the segment in which we, as friends, try to reunite as just that. After a period of conflict, a game session of war, we pick a topic to discuss and come back together as united pals on it. And this week, Andy, it's your turn for the topic. What are you bringing to the table?
I've got a World Cup themed one.
Bit like mine last week.
Because it's ongoing and it's the biggest thing happening.
This seems derivative, but I'll allow it. What's happening?
Okay. Remove the bidding process for hosts, or at least take it out of FIFA's hands.
So, you've caught me in a situation here, Andy, where I wanted to agree with you.
Okay.
I won't rebel too much against this, mostly because I don't care. You found a topic here, which is an interesting one, because it might be a bit of a pushover. I think you'll maybe have to sell me the negatives of not doing this.
I've got some ideas for how I'd do it, I guess.
Okay, so I know the bidding process exists.
Well, it's just who can give the guy in charge of FIFA the most money.
Is that the actual bidding procedure?
I guess not officially.
But that is kind of what it is. Because I know it's called bidding.
Well, the last three have been Russia, Qatar, America.
Right, okay. Yeah, I kind of see a bit of a pattern there.
Yeah. So here's my thing. No more bidding on it. The winner of the World Cup hosts not the next one, but the one after.
Okay. So kind of a Eurovision thing.
Yeah, my logic for this is if a team wins the World Cup, you can probably assume they have the football infrastructure in their country to host because they're good enough.
You can presume.
For the most part, yeah. And I think you give them another option. Well, I've got two other options if they can't host or don't want to.
Okay.
Offer it to other countries, but with a right of first refusal going second, third, fourth, fifth, etc.
Okay, so the guys that they go up against in the final and they lose,
if they want it, they can have it.
They can go next. Okay,
or
okay.
Third, fourth, which makes that third, fourth position game more important, I guess. Other option is they can share it with their neighbours. I thought those two were better.
Okay, that is up there. How about a bit of a spin on this?
Okay.
Because if there's one thing that I get frustrated with quite frequently, it's football, and not because I'm a fan.
No, I'm the same boat.
There's something about it, and apologies if there's anyone who has a weird crossover on the Venn diagram, which feels like it's just two separate circles. Of people that enjoy this and people that are avid football fans. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of you guys are big sports fans out there as well. But there is something about the culture of football and the pride around it that creates a sort of hostility, and I don't think that's great. I don't want hostility. I want a bit of, a bit of peace. That's why I got annoyed at the game. I want peace. So I think, how about this to kind of throw things off a little bit? The first team out hosts the next World Cup.
So, like, the first guys to be mathematically eliminated from their group have to host it.
Is the host for the next World Cup.
I guess it's like because there is such a thing as home field advantage, I think. So it's sort of like the blue shell in Mario Kart, where it's like you come in last.
Well, there is. It's kind of a handicap for the next time. Home field advantage. What I do know is that supposedly Mexico, in the stadium that England played against them recently, Mexico, it's something like crazy where it's like they've won like 83 games and only lost like 4 games or something beforehand.
Yeah,
in that arena, the altitude apparently was a massive.
Yeah, because if you listen to British pundits talking, you'd think it like was several times higher than like Everest.
Yeah, they're talking like like the Mexico team have like trained without gas masks or oxygen masks while doing like a climb up Kilimanjaro, when in reality it's football,
just high.
And I know it's exhausting, but the fact that we beat them in that match makes me think, well, it can't be that crazy, because I don't think any of our team are particularly well versed in high altitude football games.
No.
So it makes me think that is kind of bullshit. Maybe Mexico have went up against lesser teams. I don't know what the logistics are of that, and I won't pretend to, but that just sounds like a bunch of nonsense. So I think when it comes to this home field advantage, if we can hand that off to the losing team, it creates an interesting dynamic in 2 ways. One, you have teams that are ill-prepared maybe for the World Cup, that have qualified, and then they end up in the next World Cup, and because it's hosted in their country, maybe they'll win. Or maybe not win, but maybe they'll get a lot further. Or you get teams intentionally throwing a World Cup for the first time in 4 years that they get to play so they can host next year. We remove the monetary aspect, like your suggestion, but they do have to go through a 4-year period of embarrassment where the team has to throw it so hard that they qualify, but then fuck it immediately.
Yeah, because it is walking the line of qualify, but...
And if they get into a cycle where 1 year they throw it and next year they win, then the next year they throw it and then they win, then you start to spot the pattern.
Yeah.
You start to see what's going on here. But is the home field advantage that much? Do they just want to bring in the economic boom of hosting a World Cup? It adds a few more interesting factors to it. I don't know what your rebuttals on this are.
I would say it might mean you end up having to play in a country that doesn't have the stadiums.
Good. Because, again, I don't really care about the World Cup. So they can do that. That's fine. They can play in someone's back garden for all I fucking care. You know what? I think with the World Cup, I'll watch it when it's on. I'll watch some England matches if it slots into my schedule, because they host the games.
That's also been the problem with this World Cup. Normally, if the World Cup or the Euros are on, I'll if we get out the groups, I'll sort of get caught up a bit, and I might go to a friend's house where they're watching the game, or go to the pub while the game's on. I think the last game started at 1 a.m.
I was out for it was my anniversary with me and my girlfriend. We went out for some drinks and a nice time, and we got back home, and the match was meant to start at 1 a.m. England, and instead it got pushed back by an hour, 2 a.m. And at that point we stayed up, we listened to some music and stuff, and it was a great time. And we're like, all right, we'll stay up. We hyped ourselves up. We're like, all right, we'll make a night of it. And then the match started, and 10 minutes in, we were asleep.
Yeah.
into the playtime. So, and that was when we were sort of hyped up for it. We had time off the next day from work, which was a big thing in my office at work, where a load of people had moved around shifts or booked like a half day.
Did you have anyone take the most obvious sick day ever?
We didn't, but I did kind of the opposite, which was, it ties into that, in that it came out, my manager, we had a meeting that day on the Friday, and my manager had said, look, we're looking at maybe having a half day on Monday for some people, sort of a lottery almost. So if you guys want to try and put in for a half day, maybe you can have the morning off. And I thought, all right, cool, I'll do that. And I wrote down on my hand, and I actually have a picture. I can prove this to you, Andy. I wrote down on my hand a little code to memorize the winners of all of the World Cup from the last one all the way back to 1966 when England last won, because I wanted to make sure that if I got called out for it,
you could pretend to
be a football player. And here it is, and I can show you. So this picture, as you can attest, is just a picture of my palm with letters on it. And I can tell you with that it was Argentina, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, Brazil, France, Brazil, West Germany, Argentina, Italy, Argentina, West Germany. And I wrote that on my hand in case I put that in, and they were like, oh, well, is anyone really a football fan putting this in? And I could throw that out there.
I like how little of a good plan that is, because they're like, oh, wow, all the World Cups, you're a big fan. What do you think of? And they name any player from any era.
Well, what I would do there is because I'm not quiet about what I do in my pastime at work. People are like, what are you doing today? Like today at work, what are you doing tonight? I'm playing the campaign for North Africa. So people know that I've got a very, set mindset on the things I like. So I could have just been like, look, I like to watch the football for the historical aspect of it. I'm not into the players. I'm not into the, the goal scoring. I'm just into the moment in history. Let me tell you about history. These are all the teams that have won. I never got asked. I was never asked the question. Not. But what it did mean is I put in the half day, so I got to have the morning off, which means I went out for my anniversary, I got a bit merry, and I got to have a bit of time to recover in the morning, and I don't care about the football.
It's worked out nicely.
And I guess that boils down to what we were talking about. I don't care if they play in a back garden. I don't care if they play in a muddy field. I don't care if only 400 fans can fit in the stadium. If that means that there are going to be less bothersome people from whichever country it is where you've got your football hooligans coming in, we are, and I don't know if I'm being biased here, we are probably the worst for it.
Hooliganism.
Yeah. I don't actually know if there's another country worse for hooliganism. I don't know if it's just because I see it so frequently.
It was maybe last World Cup or Euros or a fairly recent one is a bunch of... It would have been the World Cup that was in Russia. A bunch of British football hooligans went over and ran into hard Russian guys, and it wasn't close.
Yeah, because in the UK, you've just got, kind of burly guys that get, pissed up on the weekend watching the football, and then it becomes a case of thuggery.
Whereas in Russia, I think you have people who take mouth guards to football games because they know they're going to be fighting.
So I think if it means that the football experience is humbled and it becomes about the game, which is what I was talking about last week. Yeah. My common ground was to remove diving from football because I think it lessens the game and it's tantamount to fraud. I think it's the same merit here. If you just make it about the game, then maybe I'll give a bit more attention to what you're actually interested in.
Yeah.
But right now, the fan base has ruined it. It's like Rick and Morty around season 3. The fan base has spoiled it. I don't care anymore. And if you try and talk to me about it, I'll think less of you.
We also have the thing, I don't know about you, I, on a certain level, resent football because I was never into it, and it was the, key for, school socializing.
Well, that's definitely part of it for me.
Yeah.
We both ended up friends. We both ended up playing the campaign for North Africa. We probably have similar childhood experiences.
Yeah.
I think if we're going to dissect this psychologically, I think I know where this has came from. And that's why I also hazard a guess that that's why I'm tainting every listener with the same brush.
Well, I have a first school memory of everyone running around being I'm Alish, naming football players. And because football was literally never on in my house, I was like, what? Who are any of these people? And then people are like, what? You don't know them? And then you go, well, fuck you then. And then you're just not going to like football.
So by that logic, I think we should just make football about the game. Maybe then we'll be more interested. And I don't mean to gatekeep your own interest, people, but that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what my common ground is. I think football should be about the game, and I think all of the nonsense should be, set aside.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Andy. If I know I've warped your common ground slightly here, but I think
we both the World Cup's going on, and we both have issues with football. I think that's the common ground.
Maybe if we take both of our common grounds and we distill it down into it should just be about the game itself and enjoy that.
But the game should be 5 days long.
Yeah.
It's the first 11 goals.
Well, that's it. If you take what we're doing, we make it about the game. We don't add anything to it. We don't talk about it afterwards.
In common ground.
We don't embellish it with tangents. We don't talk about other things kind of related to the game like pundits do, where we talk about the history of it or anything around that. We don't, hear, fan opinions when they interview them outside the arenas and the stadiums. We don't pander to all of that nonsense. We keep it clear cut. We keep it precisely about the game. And I think the hypocrisy of football fans when they, kick up this fuss, it's tiring and I can't deal with it. I think if you're going to play the game, just play the game and stop going on tangents and yapping on about it. If you'd like to email us...
we don't like football, I guess, and we're bitter about it.
If you'd like to email us, you can catch us on info@warwithamate.co.uk.
Yep.
Our Instagram is warwithamate. Our website is warwithamate.co.uk, and that will be updated at some point. But get in touch. Let us know your thoughts.
War with a Mate on YouTube.
War with a Mate is on YouTube as well. You can follow us on there. We release all of the episodes on there.
Might be releasing live shows soonish.
Well, yeah, it's all the same stuff, and we'll have the live show on there. We've got the video of us unboxing the game for the first time, which, if you've not seen that, that's a 10-minute or so video of us realizing what we're getting into for the first time. That was fun. So check it all out. Get in touch if you've got any questions about the game or, as you've heard in the past, anything at all, even tangentially related or not at all related. We'll talk about it all, and we will pick up next time towards the end of this practice scenario, the culmination of 18 months of progress. I've been James.
I've been Andy. Stay subtle, humble, and brave.
In those perfectly concentrated and non-tangential deserts of your mind. Good night.